Do not eat if you're sensitive to spicy food. The Reaper shows no mercy. Oh my God.
Y'all are live. All right. You want okay, our on air is on. Okay, so back here in my studio, Studio 2, sitting across from me is guest Austin Gray from Stingray Aerials. This is actually take 2 of our podcast here at my studio, and our first live, or I guess not live episode of You and Me, my podcast that we're now producing here. But Austin, thank you for joining me for round 2.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah, we made it happen, even though we had some hiccups along the way. But we were just talking about the grand opening that we had, not this last Saturday, but the Saturday beforehand. We did a one-chip challenge. For anyone not familiar with this, this is the hottest chip in the world. Rip-off.
It looks dangerous.
Yeah, $6 a chip. This is the closest I'm getting to it. I'm not touching it outside of this packaging, but
I would eat a piece, but I could not eat this whole thing. If I did, I would be useless for this podcast.
I mean, I'm useless without eating any of it, so, I mean.
Oh, we are not that channel if we are looking for funny reactions to spicy food. Except if they sponsored and gave me, like, a couple $100,000, sure.
But my studio is. You go to mystudio.space and you go down to our YouTube page. You can see our Studio 2 live stream on YouTube that we have linked there. And I think you go about an hour into the stream, you'll see our marketing manager, Lee Johnson, and business partner, Gerardo Salinas, splitting one of those chips in half and each eating half. And let me tell you, they did absolutely amazing, all things considered, because the night before, my dad had a few of his friends over at our house, and one guy, great guy, salt of the earth, actually probably be one of my next podcast guests. His name is Jim. Hey, Jim, if you're listening. He will go around, like, kind of scavenging or, like...
Yeah. Looking for stuff like that, yeah.
Looking for food, It's, all right, there's candy dish out, there's some...
He's a real free sampler, grazer kind of fella.
Yeah, and you would think, just by looking at this package, it would turn you off. But I was, like, over in the dining room. He was moseying around the kitchen, and he was like, hey, Jacob, what's this? Is it food? And...
Sure.
Yeah, it's food, and see how far I would go with it without lying to him. But it's like, if you could not read this, one, it says chip, okay, one extremely hot tortilla chip. All you have to do is read the packaging, but not even that. Just looking at it, you could probably tell this is no good. And so he continues, like, kind of open it. He looks, checks it out, and then he was like, yeah, I'm not sure about it. And I go down to Brian. Brian's downstairs in our home studio in a basement, Drones IDU HQ. And I tell Brian, Jim almost ate one of your chips. And he was like, why did you stop him? I was like, I didn't stop him. I told him that it was one of yours. So we'll go back up there and we'll tell him, oh, yeah, Brian didn't really like them. So if you want them, you can have them. And he was like, what is it, like a chip? I was like, yeah, I think some sort of like chip snack or something. And
one chip fills you up.
Yeah, he opens it up. He like takes a little nibble, doesn't swallow it, already realizes it's a mistake.
Oh,
and
God.
then he swallows it anyway. And he was like just mouth on fire, like extremely discomfortable, and then or uncomfortable. And then my cousin, who drums with my dad in his group, Jim's the bass player, he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to eat 2 of them after he heard about Jim just taking like the smallest of small bites. And then again, he just gets like one little nibble in, and same thing. Oh no, this is a mistake. So seeing Gerardo and then Lee each eat half of this, they handled it much better than Jim or Jonathan did, just eating a small little bit. And so I'm not gonna come anywhere close to eating one of these or even a little bit of it. But
I've had too many bad hot thing experiences in my life. I'll save it for another time.
What's the hottest thing you've eaten?
Good grief. Oh, man. We were in Florida one time, and you know how they have, like, those pepper house places?
Mm-mm.
You've never been to one of those? It's
No.
literally, like, it's a place that sells hot sauce and like, all that. It's literally a place for that stuff. And they have a case that says 18 and older only. Like, no kids, even
Wow.
with permission. No, you have to be 18 or
18.
older to do it. It was salsa. So me, my brother, my dad. My dad puts hot sauce on spaghetti, like everything.
Wow.
Like
okay.
everything he puts hot sauce on. So
Are we talking like a Tabasco, a
No,
Frank's
this-
Red Hot? Like
this my dad?
Yeah.
Oh, he puts just Tabasco on everything. Not
But-
like
Okay.
crazy. But what we were eating was the hottest. It was, the Reaper,
Like
or
ghost
whatever.
pepper,
yeah, whatever the
yeah,
hottest
yeah,
one. I can't
Carolina.
keep track.
Yeah.
But the hottest pepper.
Pepper X now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Come
Whatever the
on.
heck it was.
Stay on top of your
I don't.
pepper
I'm
game,
not.
Austin.
I'm not a pepper fanatic, people. But anyway, so we open it up and we decided to try a little bit, and I swear it was like not even half of your pinky nail is what we had on a chip,
Wow.
and like I can tolerate it, but it was bad. We're like about to throw up. I ate an entire gallon of ice cream just to get it off. We're not wimps with this stuff, but God, it was. My
No.
dad's like crying, and he does it all the time.
No, I'm a wimp when it comes
It
to
was
spicy.
it was
foods.
crazy.
I think like you've been to Zaxby's, I assume at
Yes.
some point. Like the wimpy sauce. Too much of that is literally too spicy
A
for me.
friend of mine's dad is pepper is too hot. Like pepper is too spicy.
My mom's that exact same way. Yeah. So I've grown up with fairly bland
Spicy.
food, in my lifetime because my mom will like salt, but not anything, like
Yeah,
pepper.
Pepper,
yeah,
any kind of spice at all.
Yeah. So
Well, now we've talked spicy.
yeah. So
Talk about some spicy content.
yeah, spicy
Oh.
content. So let me do a little plug here for my studio, since again we
Yeah, tell them what we're doing here. Jake.
Yeah,
What is
we
this?
provided a little context in our last podcast that
Did
there were
not
some
air it.
recording mishaps, but anyway, we're back here again at my studio. For anyone listening that is not aware of my studio is a creative hub made of 3 different studio spaces all in the same location for any business or individual looking to create their own brand, create content to promote on their website, their social media, and really building that online presence. And so we have all the equipment, the space, and even the producers that you need. If you really just want to show up, be the star of your own photo shoot, video shoot, podcast, we'll produce it for you. You're gonna pay for it, but if you do have the expertise or the experience producing your own content, and you just need the space or maybe even some equipment to help you, we have that, and you can run your own show.
It's
essentially.
cool. It's cool stuff here. I came in we've known each other, what, now? A month at this point?
Yeah.
Been in like 20 times just because it's fun to hang around. But I walk in I think it was last week. I walk in and someone literally has a VR, Brian, one of the main, producers. He
Ayo.
literally has a Oculus on his head, and there's a giant TV and 2 monitors, and he's editing in Premiere Pro in Oculus in this house that he built on the inside. So he's virtually, it was wild. It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
He basically had his own virtual penthouse. He was
Yeah,
editing
virtual
at.
like office. You could be
Yeah.
in space if you wanted to, editing on Premiere Pro. But that's the kind of stuff they do here. It's super creative. They've got green screens and
Yeah, like we've already had people coming in, and one of our content creators in our network, he came out and did a photo shoot with one of his clients. He just an insurance agent, so you don't have to be like an artist, a content creator of the typical sense. Any industry right now, any profession,
Dude,
really needs content to promote themselves.
especially things are progressing so fast. Podcasts are huge right now for everyone. Like just how we don't have to convince, but just like me and you both do video production work, you
Right.
business side, I both business and actually production stuff. But we don't have to convince people that they need video anymore. We just have to convince them of the value and investment. But the same is becoming with podcasts. I heard someone say they're offering dentists that they work with, because their niche is dentists,
Right.
to do podcasts. They're like, come up with 365 or 52, dental tips and take 2 minutes. We'll be together for 3 hours and do 52 2-minute little podcasts. It's like
Yeah.
you always want to go where the people are looking, and right now podcasts are huge. I think it's going to move towards like a subscription, like Netflix kind of thing. It's like the Wild West right now,
Yeah.
but I feel like just like how streaming and things like that, where podcasting is now, they're going to like crack down and be like, you want to listen to this? Pay
Right.
this company to listen. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, there's already some people at the cutting edge.
So you might
of
get
that.
paid to make podcasts soon.
Well, and the great thing is I've had people like, how do you monetize podcasts? And really, there's not just one way. I mean,
Dude.
there's
There's a thousand ways.
yeah, there's advertising. Now, given that might be the most popular form of monetization, but you got to realize it also takes building an audience to get to a point where you want advertisers to, essentially pay you to keep creating the same content, just with a little like 30-second ad read promoting, their company or their brand. The next one is like a Patreon or OnlyFans type of model, or even I guess Twitch, right, where you're subscribing to that individual content creator, and then they're splitting that cut with the platform, and then they get the rest. And then, like Austin was saying, kind of like how iTunes kind of revolutionized the music industry, where instead of buying a CD, buying a whole album, you could go buy one song for 99 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some people already charging for their podcast in that same way,
Yeah.
where, hey, you know what, I'm not going to charge you a subscription fee. There's going to be no advertisements on it, but you're going to pay $1.99 to listen to this, 3-hour episode.
Yeah.
And, for a lot of people, that's worth it.
Yeah, it's not too complicated anymore. It's not hard to see where you can make money with podcasts, but yeah, my
For
studio.
people like you
yeah,
and me, but,
yeah. Things. I mean, like you said though, even non-creative work fields and industries, if they're getting into podcasting early, like the people that got into video creation early,
they're going to stand out.
they're going to stand out and they're going to
Get more work as a result.
yeah.
I mean, really, the thing about it is, don't even look at podcasting necessarily from the perspective of, I need to figure out how this podcast itself is going to make money, but really think about it as another marketing or advertising campaign or method that you use to bring in traffic to other areas that you already have monetized.
Yeah.
So if you're an insurance agent, don't try to monetize a podcast about insurance. Set up the podcast for free, where you have individuals where they don't know what to do if they need a home inventory created, or they're moving in to a new house because they're brand new homeowners, just bought new cars, and just podcast about all those different topics, and then people are going to find you online, come to you, your agency, and do business with you because you're the source of content.
Yeah.
And that's really the way I think a lot of people should be.
It's
looking
already
at it.
huge and it's getting huge. So there's a lot of open field out there for podcasters.
And yeah, even beyond podcasting, especially here at my studio, as much as we're big proponents and fans of podcasting ourselves here, that's not the only type of content you can create here. So again, going back to one of our content creators, Alfred, he brought in one of his clients to do a photo shoot, just doing like headshots for
That's
this
cool.
insurance.
Yeah,
insurance
that's super
agent.
true because there's a thousand. I mean, there's
There's
a thousand different
backdrops,
backdrops,
there's green screen,
but there's
backdrop.
also the green screen. But
Yeah.
it's cool, man. It's super cool. This is this is the place that like I've always wanted to happen. Somewhere for, even if you're not here for business, for making money.
Right.
This kind of group of people that are interested in creating, interested in podcasting, interested in video production, interested in VR, interested in talking with people. That's my biggest thing, is my friends and family get tired of me talking about creativity, video production, drones, VR, where all these things are going, and business and all that. And so far, this place has been the coolest to come and talk to people that are like-minded and know about this. I feel like this podcast, because this is the first one, I was thinking of like when I first listened to a podcast, like what I wish they would say, or what I wish they're like an introduction or something.
Right.
But I think, I don't know, you should just say like, if you could do in like a paragraph, why would you say this podcast is?
So this podcast, again, it's called You and Me. So the focus is just to talk about the things on your mind, you, and the things on my mind, me, right? So that could be I bring in a business owner, and we're only talking about their business. They don't want to go into too much about their personal lives. Great. But at the end of the day, it's all just going to be people I'm interested in talking to. We do have a podcast here at my studio specifically for promoting the content creators, artists, entertainers that come in here, local to the Atlanta scene, promote those individuals. But this one in particular, don't want to really put any boundaries on, put myself in a box. And I have lots of different interests that I feel like I can talk to people, down a lot of different roads, down a lot of different avenues. So, it just turns out that Austin is a content creator. He does everything from promotional videos to help businesses out, create that online presence that they need, to doing drone services as well for construction sites. You're doing some photogrammetry.
Yeah, kind of dipping into that. It's been hard for me because recently it's like I'm hearing pick a niche and go after that person so much. But then I'm also hearing like don't limit yourself. Don't try and tell everyone you do their work, but also don't limit yourself and say you only do this, and someone comes to you with this, and you're like, no.
Right.
So, but, dang it, what was I going to say?
Well, you're just trying to, I guess, figure out how you want to market and position yourself, not just, you don't want to be just the video guy, you don't want to be just the drone
that's where
guy.
I was going, is I don't want to be, I said this on the last podcast, it's hard right now because it feels like I'm repeating myself from the last podcast. Yeah. But like me and Jacob know what we talked about, but this is the first one. So I guess I'll just say what I said on the first one.
All three people.
No. All three people that are in on this know what I've said. But anyway, to me, where the industry is now with creating video for companies, it's more about the solution and value you're giving. I feel like it should have always been and has always been this, but I feel like it's especially now, the solution and value provide. It's not, I have a Red Dragon and I have 50 lenses, an Inspire 2, a small rig, and all this crazy. It's not about that anymore. It's literally about, do you provide the company value? That's it.
Right.
If you show up with an iPhone, an iPad, and a Mac or so,
that may be all you need.
That may be all you need. It's just so for me, doing what I do because I love it so much. I kind of sometimes relate it to I don't relate it to real estate, but I heard someone say that with real estate, their goal is to make the home buying process fun. They take the work. They take the hard parts away. Right. And the person that's getting the home is just enjoying the process. Right. So I kind of try and think of it like that, where I enjoy the camera gear. I enjoy the editing. I enjoy the filming. There's little things that, of course, like running the business and also producing it and creating it, there's little things I'm not going to like. But as a whole, I love that stuff. I love creating ideas and thinking of a solution for a business.
Right.
Someone comes or I meet someone and they say, this is my business. And to find a solution through video for that is super cool. But,
just to chime in real quick, we also have met people who have had top of the line 4K, 8K cameras and everything.
It just sits there.
They don't know how to work with it,
That or they're just not really good at using these really expensive tools that put in the right hands could do amazing things.
They think that just having that gear is what's going to bring them clients and money and stuff. Exactly. That's not how it is. But anyway, like I was saying, is taking that thought process of I want you to enjoy the process more is good for people that I have worked with so far. They love that. They want someone to be genuinely interested, not just, oh, I made this cool video, here you go, but to walk them through okay, who do you want to go after? What's the purpose of this video?
Yeah, I think you worded this really well in that first podcast that you're really trying to help them not just tell their story, but to do that you really have to understand that story.
Yeah.
And, break down their business, break down their organization. Is this a video for an event? What is the purpose of this event? What are you trying to do with this video? Are you trying to promote future events, or are you just trying to spread awareness? Or
I think the best for creators that are listening that want to make their own business and are on the same path or ahead of me or before me, whatever, on this same having your own business doing production, content creation, I would say make sure that when someone sees your brand that you can tell your own story incredibly well. Like, you need someone to see your brand and be like, oh my gosh, because if you're not telling your story good enough, then and you're the one that cares the most, how are you going to tell their story in any way that's going to be beneficial for them? And that took I had a crappy website for so long and no demo reel, no nothing, just like
I still do.
I still do in some ways. It's a work in progress. But having a way for people to see you tell your story makes them be like, they're not even going to question you being able to tell their story because they see it. If you just say, oh, I make cool videos, that's okay. What about and then the other person, it's their business. It's like their baby. They've grown it. They've flooded money into it. They've lost some things. They've gained some things. Just like how if you are trying to create your own business, you're doing for that, someone else is doing that. So if you really want to get clients and be close to them and provide something that's valuable, then you have to show it.
Yeah, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And
invest time in
I'd be interested to broach this topic that we did talk about before. I don't know if it was part of the first podcast or not, but Gary Vaynerchuk, right?
Yeah.
He's brought up that whole idea of, hey, I'm going to do it here for when he started off Wine Library or his wine business, right? Mm-hmm. And then he had people approach him, hey, I want what you did for your wine business, right? Creating all this content, growing it from, this to that, and can you help me with it?
Yeah.
Wine. And it's the same thing.
It's the same thing because I did the same thing.
Right.
And it's like, I don't care about my own stuff. I'm trying to make money. I'm going to find this person. But the people will come to you if you can brand yourself. Also, like some people don't want a brand that looks luxury and elegant and millions of dollars. Some people want a rugged brand. Some people want a down-to-earth mom and pop brand. There's so many different ways. And I think that circles back to this niche thing. What do you think about a niche?
Yeah,
I struggle so much with this.
It all just depends on, I think, what your interests are, like the market you want to go after, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're just like gung ho about real estate and you make the best damn real estate videos and do the best damn real estate photos and that's what gets you off in the morning.
Yeah.
Double down on that.
Yeah.
But, for me, I'm not, just, focused on media in particular, which, some people say, oh, yeah, you got to then focus on, are you doing real media for real estate?
Yeah.
Are you doing media for, businesses that want to promote themselves?
Yeah.
Or, like, political campaigns and you have to do one. And it's like, no. I mean, if it was literally just like Brian and myself going on every job site, then
I think business-minded, it's keep everything open because you can hire people that have that are very good at particular things.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know. I come back to the same struggle. It's like it's hard to just pin down on one thing and be like, I'm going to be the best at that because you're leaving so much on the table.
Right.
But you're able to be the best. You can't be the best at every type of production.
Yeah, and
that's what's hard.
Yeah, that's where the way that we're tackling it with iView Media. Not saying this is the right way or the wrong way, and I know a lot of people that would probably say it's the wrong way, but we're taking the approach of having a few different verticals that we're going after. We do work for other industries, other markets, but we're just not actively promoting ourselves for those markets.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too.
And so, hey, we have real estate, we have events, we have construction. We do other work. Come to us with any media needs you have. We can work with you, do the scope of work, any storyboarding that's required, anything like that. All the pre-production work that goes into it.
See, I think that's the smart way too, because it's kind of like
I think especially in our field.
Yeah. I've heard someone liken it to like a restaurant, you know? So like you have this restaurant and they have the best freaking steak. Like the best steak. You know that if you go there, you're going to get the best steak you've ever had. But they also sell mashed potatoes. They also sell green beans and macaroni and cheese and broccoli. That stuff's mediocre, but the steak is incredible. So as a, you know, to bring it back to a business, we sell the best free real estate content there is. We are just the best. We promote out there. We do ads out there. We're just the best at that. But we do headshots.
Right.
We do events. We do this. And not saying that it's mediocre.
Right.
But if you're getting people higher up and these bigger clients, or not even, it doesn't necessarily have to be bigger. But if you do a good job at the thing you specialize in, that awesome steak, then they're going to be like, oh, what else do you do? What else do you have on the side? You know.
Yeah.
So,
and that's how
I don't think there's any right way either.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that.
Do what works for you, man.
Yeah, and do what you enjoy. Do what you can sustainably keep up.
If you like filming paint dry, man,
go
for you. You're gonna have a lot of. You're gonna save on Google Ads. That's for sure.
Yeah, just advertising towards paint companies.
Paint companies.
Yeah,
filming.
I'm sure you could make
That's what I'm saying too.
Out of it. It's just. Let's take a step back though, and I personally think it's all about what you want before you get started, you know, and it's going to be, you're going to like refine that along the way. You're going to develop more clarity about what it is you're actually working towards, what you want. But I know for me, like, I didn't start off like, oh man, I'm going to build the best damn real estate media company I can, fathom. You know, it's like, no, I can bring media, robotics, and software together in a way that I don't think has ever been done before and would drastically change the world we live in as we know it. And it's just, if you're not that person to like, what's always next, what's around the corner, what can I build this off into, then you might be more successful just picking a niche or two and sticking with those. But, if you're the type like, let's see how big we can take it. I want to go all the way, and you're a big grandiose idea type of person, then I do think that, in my experience, the right way is leaving opportunities open and not limit yourself to anything.
Yeah, do what you want. If you can find a way to get paid doing something, beneficial, hopefully it's something beneficial and not...
That's all subjective, though, too.
Yeah. Something that has purpose for somebody, even if that's just for you. If you can do something that you love and make a living and be happy, dude, you've nailed it. That's key.
Yeah, it's really like providing value for someone.
Yeah.
I mean, and,
not having the goal of, I'm going to be the richest person. But...
Right.
Well, then again, I feel scared to talk about things sometimes. This is an off tangent, but sometimes I feel scared, like, what did I just say? Not to be rich, but then there are people that their goal in life is to be rich.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just not me, man.
Yeah, look at a Warren Buffett,
Yeah.
But, his interest is in
business. Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's,
I hate money, personally.
I didn't start a nonprofit. That's how I
true.
feel about it. It's like, I'm doing everything that I want to do in life, but I realize that costs money. And so it's like, well, I need to make money because I don't have any money to do the things I want to do. And so I'm not going to, do all these things structured as a nonprofit. So, what makes sense? Opening up a business. And businesses, if you're doing things right, make money.
Yeah. So. And like I said, there's something for everybody. Like my thing is always balance. I've said for every person that's like marketing person or anything that's come into our business, I tell them, like, I don't want to be rich. I really don't want to be rich because I feel like there's a limit where it's more of a burden than it is nice to have. For me, that's just how I feel and think. So for me, like I said, balance, I think, okay, I want to make a set amount that, what I saw the other day, this goes into it, is the old statuses of having a house, having a stable 9-to-5 are gone. All it is now is freedom. Time freedom, financial freedom, whatever else kind of freedom. So for me, it's that balance thing is like, I want to make this. Money is just how to get me balanced out and having that freedom. So for me, my ideal is to make enough to where I don't worry about my bills. And also I can go and travel and hang out with my family, because that's literally the number one goal. It sounds cliche and stupid, but it's true. It really is.
No, I think a lot of people have opened up to that and realized with COVID that, your family's not going to be around forever.
Yeah.
That, spend as much time that you possibly can around them, but without getting too down into, the darker
already
corners
into
of
coronavirus.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That first
What
podcast.
God.
We're not getting monetized because of that. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Because of what?
Bring up COVID because
Dang, Jacob, I wasn't going to say it. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, going back to what you're saying, that you're looking for a balance. You want to be able to have enough money to pay your bills. Not worry about making ends meet. Be able to spend time with your family. Hey, I want to go on a vacation or travel to this part of the world I haven't seen. Do that. But
and that I just remembered something we talked about in the first one is that crazy when things are when super complex things are drawn out at like a 2-year-old level.
Yeah.
It really like blows my mind. Like remember how we talked about there was that graph that was like this is your life from 0 to, let's say you're lucky and live to 90.
Yeah.
Here's your life from 0 to 18 or whatever you want to say, your childhood years. And then you work from 18 or 20-ish, or you're in school, whatever. I count college as work. Let's say that.
Yeah.
You're from 18 to 65.
Yeah.
That chunk is so freaking big. And if you're lucky, you can retire and have a good 10,
20 years.
20 years.
Freedom.
Maybe if you're lucky and you worked your ass off that whole chunk.
Right.
You look at that and I'm like, even if I was a millionaire because I worked like that for this chunk, that is just not worth it, dude. I'd rather live simpler with less money the way I want and have freedom and spend time with my family and going on vacations for that whole life than just the one little chunk and all this crap I got to deal with.
Yeah, so what is your take on like the mindset of, hey, I'm going to go do a whole lot of work and then by the time insert age here, 25, 30, 45, I'm going to retire with X amount of money.
I couldn't retire at it depends what retire means for you. But I don't know. I'm kind of split because I don't think you should like give up your teenage and younger 20 years of going out and having bonfires. I wasn't like a crazy kid, but we went out and had like pool parties at midnight and 4 a.m. and bonfires and I don't believe giving that up. But for me, I was lucky enough.
He isn't a crazy kid, got married at 20.
This is true. Hey, this kind of goes into what we're talking about. Yeah. But no, I don't believe in like giving that stuff up just so by the time you're 25, whatever age, early on than most. I don't believe you should give all that stuff up just to be in that position then. But I also don't believe in like wasting time,
Right.
And doing completely stupid things and going off the rails and wasting time. I don't think
I'm gonna go to all the music festivals. I'm gonna find myself, and I'm gonna be all about them good vibes.
If that's important to you as a person, go all at it, man. But it comes back to that balance thing. For me, I didn't give up. If I had given up that time of driving around and doing all that crazy stuff I said, quotation marks, then maybe by now I would have hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's not worth it for me. I'm glad I'm glad I got to do what I did and got married at 20 and did all these things. And now by the time
there's not a gun to his head.
Yeah. She's not here. No. By the time I'm 25, I'm still only 20 and my business is going pretty good.
Yeah.
By the time I'm 25, maybe I will be at a point where I'm not going to be retired because I don't want to, but I'll be at a point where people are working for me and me and my wife at 25 can go hang out in the Bahamas. There's nothing wrong with that. And know my business is being taken care of by the right people,
Right.
I believe in people. I would love to just sit back and have someone else take care of it. I don't mind building the thing. And my passion is videography, so I'll do my passion.
Yeah, you like
for
being
the other stuff. Yeah.
Hands-on.
Yeah. I don't have to do it for a company. I can go make travel vlogs and get 0 views on YouTube. The passion of making the video is fun for me. But if my business is being run back here at home, dude, that's the goal right there.
How do you feel about going in on a van life van?
Dude.
Oh God.
Me and Brian are in on this one.
No,
Yeah.
I call top bunk.
I'm gonna van surf on the top everywhere we go.
Let me ask you about
Surfing
that.
USA,
So,
baby.
would you ever be ever consider a van life?
Yes.
Like legitimately
Yes.
live in a van?
Yes, dude. Me and my wife across the freaking states with my surfboard, camera gear, and a laptop. Hell, are you kidding me, man? That's the greatest thing. Dude,
Wow.
See,
okay.
that's where you lose me.
What?
I'm fine for like a road trip
No.
or like a vacation
okay,
or a
here's-
trip or something like that.
you have to understand where I come
But
from.
when we're talking about like living day-to-day life every single day in the van, that's where you lose me.
Honestly, my wife's the same way. I want a home base. That's my thing.
Okay.
I like having a home base. But here's an example. My parents are the biggest campers you'll ever meet in your life. They at the beginning of this year, they were camping at a campground, paying each day whatever for 2.5 months straight
Wow.
in a teardrop camper.
Okay.
And so they sold their townhouse and are buying a pretty nice sized camper. It's not an RV. It's a pretty nice sized camper. And that's their goal. They're just going to drive around and live in the camper.
Wow.
But that is bigger
Yeah.
than a van. But they're our plan, because I love my parents, but they want a home base too. They're going to be
Right.
gone most of the year, but they want, for part of the land that me and whatever works out, they would love just a little spot to park it some months
Right.
and then take off. So that's my parents, and I would not live in a van. I take that
Yeah.
back. I wouldn't live in one.
Yeah, that's the disconnect for me as well.
But I would leave for months at a time.
See, my biggest thing is like to do anything like that. I think I would want an autonomous RV, like just
a Tesla van.
like a
No, it would be
like
cool.
a full RV that drives itself. All right, instead of getting up early in the morning at 8 a.m., I'm gonna drive here from Atlanta, Georgia to the Grand Canyon. Maybe 30 hours of driving, something like that. And you know what? Instead of leaving 8 a.m. and I'm gonna put an 8-hour day of driving, I'm gonna leave at 8 p.m., maybe get on the road a couple hours, and then I'm going to fall asleep 8 hours later, I'm 8 hours closer
But
to my
that's your brain.
destination.
But think about it. The way I think about it is like, I'm not going to make that 30-hour trip. Part of the way I live in the adventure travel part is the actual getting there. So I'll drive like 3 hours or 2
Yeah.
hours or
And
10
then stop
hours,
somewhere
and
and-
stop and hang out and go see something cool or a cool restaurant or something. That sounds more of like a tourist, like, oh, we're starting here and we have to go here and hang out.
Yeah, nah. See, I'd much rather like be where I'm at, a permanent home base, and then
Yeah.
go
Fly.
Yeah, fly to wherever, and that's why I'm in the robotics business as well. Like,
Sorry, I can't
one of my
reach.
goals, and now it's going public. 14 years from this year, 2020, 2034, we are either going to have
we
our
go.
first or be very close to releasing our first passenger
There
drone.
it is. You heard
Yes.
it here first. What's the date, Jacob?
2034.
No, today.
October.
November 1st, I think.
Yeah, November 2nd.
November 2nd, 2020.
Yeah, so
You are predicting
14 years from now,
14 years from now, Drone's Eye View.
we'll have
We'll have-
passenger drone vehicles.
Well, sell me a ticket. Give me a ticket right now that says Jacob Andrews gives you a personal flight. It's happening. I'm going to keep this for 14 years. You watch. You heard it here first.
I'm going to be disappointed now if you don't keep this for 14
Dude,
years.
I'm going to bring it back to you in like a framed picture. Be like, with like a recording of the podcast. Be like, hey, remember me? Look at it. It's happening, guys. And I'm going to make a video out of it too. It's going to be sick.
Will.
It's going to be in
no,
20K in that year.
Will give me 1.5 million. No, I'm just kidding.
Will give
Okay.
a ride or we'll shuttle.
We'll shuttle.
Gotta be all fancy like.
There we go. He's writing in cursive too. That's the best handwriting. I could not do that. I feel like a narrator. Jacob Andrews is currently writing a handwritten
E-Y?
AY.
A-Y.
Hey, you want to know where my company name came from?
Yes.
Okay, so my-
Stingray.
So I think I told you this. Did I tell you this? Stingray. So like the animal stingray. I've always
Yes,
liked them.
Yeah, we talked about Steve Irwin. Yeah.
How dare you bring that up? Anyway. No, so the reason I have it is because my name is Austin Gray. Austingray. If you take the A and the U, the first two letters off, then it spells stingray. So since I was a kid, I just thought that was super cool. So just, that was like my animal.
Your spirit animal?
That's, yeah, sure. That's just what so I was like, drones, flying, I don't know. It kind of correlated a stingray and a drone for some reason to me. I don't know. They kind of glide through water and air.
Yeah, they kind of look like they're flying the way they move.
So that's kind of where I got it from. So then I just, like I said, took the A and the U off, and it made stingray. And I don't know. Ariel sounded good enough to me. Oh, man. Drones, Ivy, is that just a name you thought? Ivy Robotics, that's what it is.
Yeah, so for everyone that has no idea what we're talking about, so my company, Drones iView, is set up as a holding company. Underneath that, I have iView Media, a media production company, iView Robotics, a robotics development and manufacturing company, and then World's iView, which is a software, social media, world mapping global platform that we're building out. Not going to talk too much more about that just because, it kind of is. But, I guess Jacob Andrews will shuttle Austin Gray in an iView Robotics passenger drone in the year 2034.
Boom. Or after. Because I don't want to come and for some reason I'm like on Mars or something on 2034 and I come back and it's like 2035.
You're 2034.
There you go.
2035.
I got 2 years to take this.
What if it's like a 4-year journey from Mars?
Yeah, man. You're gonna screw me over on our deal here?
Yeah. Fuck Elon Musk and his Mars mission. There's more important stuff to be worrying about.
My drone shuttle ride, man.
Digby,
heck yeah, dude.
My dog Digby has got to be the first one. That's the goal.
Dude, that would be awesome. What was the monkey that went to space?
That's official.
It's official. It's happening. I'm gonna keep this forever, and I'm gonna reuse it in the year 2034 because there's no terms in there's no what do they call it?
Terms and conditions?
Yeah, terms and conditions. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's just a blanket ride.
I should have had him give me one, dang it. Oh well. We can work that out on the next podcast.
That would have been the angle to work. You get a free one.
Free one.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. So
yeah, well you heard it here first. Well, and again, backing up, we're in development of a couple of drones right now. One of which we have the idea / concept to scale it up to a passenger drone size. That's like one of the biggest focuses from the U.S. Air Force right now. Passenger drones are already taking off, pun intended, in the Middle East, over in Asia, primarily like in China, Japan. So, I think within 14 years, that's actually going to be
a safe
a market.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I don't know if it is going to be, people will have their own in, 14, 15 years, maybe super, rich, like you're making $1 million or $2 million or more a year, I think we'll really start to see mass adoption of passenger drones when we can get them to about the $80,000 to $100,000 price range.
Enough to where you don't have to go to the airport or go to some place where...
Make it equivalent to buying
like a high-end car.
Yeah. Kind of like even the Tesla. Started out with the Roadster, which is pretty shit. But,
you think
it's the first step in the right direction.
I mean, I'm sure a bunch of people are considering and thinking of these ideas too. You think like Elon Musk right now is thinking about the next, like making a drone, passenger drone?
Passenger drone, I think he's probably thought about it before. He's talked about eVTOL jets, electric jets. From what I've heard, and he doesn't sound like he's the biggest proponent of. It doesn't sound like he's the biggest proponent of aerial travel.
Yeah.
He's a big proponent of 3D travel, which I am
The
too.
Boring Company.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because he's doing all of his work with underground with like hyperloops and tunnel systems.
He's more focused on the ground stuff.
And yeah, he's always coming up with like, oh, like if you have flying cars, you gotta worry about like a hubcap.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like, or you just build a drone without fucking hubcaps.
Have hubcaps.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, there's dangers with aerial travel, just like there's dangers with literally anything else you do in life, including driving a car, right? But I think where aerial travel is actually safer is you can manage a lot more traffic in an aerial 3D space than you can on a 2D roads where you have forward, stop, left or right, and that is if there's a left or right option on the road. With the air, you have diagonal, you know, any direction. Literally any direction. And I think it's a lot easier, especially when we're talking about autonomous cars or autonomous drones, to be able to manage all that traffic in a 3D space instead of just being constrained to, you know, 2D roads.
I mean, have you ever seen Back to the Future? I mean, that's a good example.
Back to the Future,
Two.
I was talking with Sean, who you've met
now.
Yeah. I really see, you know, I would say on the conservative side, definitely in the next 2,000 to 3,000 years. On the, you know, closer side, or, you know, on the more aggressive side, next 200 to 300 years, we start seeing more terraforming of Earth, where you start seeing people building upwards, maybe having flying platforms, flying cities, and then kind of like if you're familiar with Star Wars at all, there's Coruscant, like the whole planet is a city, essentially.
Yeah.
And there's like thousands of levels underneath.
Yeah.
And I think we will have, you know, some underground infrastructure and, you know, aerial infrastructure.
I thought you were going to say something about time travel for the next I'm like, I don't think time travel would ever exist.
I don't know. I just really like, and it depends because there's so many different definitions of time travel.
Yeah, that's true. Like the basic old classic, it's like if time travel existed.
Are we not traveling through time right now?
Shut your filthy mouth.
Oh, checkmate.
If time travel, like we think about it from the movies, existed, I feel like someone would have already come back.
Yeah, I mean,
like there would have been some mix-up, or I don't know. If we get into time travel right now, we're going to be here for the next 8 hours. So
who's to say it hasn't?
That's what I was about to say, is like maybe they have and they've fixed it. And, like I said, if we get into time travel right now.
This is above our pay grade here, folks.
True.
Yeah, so.
We just talk about flying cameras.
What are you talking about? We're the experts because we have a podcast.
This is true. Honestly, you sound like a real freaking expert on anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just got to speak with authority and, you know, pretend like you know what you're doing, right? I mean, that's how I've made it this far.
This is true.
But, yeah, going back to, you know, the development work that we're doing with our drones, you know, that's something that Austin has taken interest in as well. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this podcast, but we are in the process of building a new drone product to in my eyes, revolutionize the drone industry, where all of the products out there on the market are essentially flying cameras. We're bringing to market a flying computer. If you go to the iView Robotics website, iviewrobotics.com, you can see a teaser video that will show you a little bit about what we're developing, but you're really not going to be able to make too much of anything out.
It's so cool.
So, yeah, moving on from that, now that you have, you know, that signed documentation that you're going to be one of our first drone passengers, yeah, the idea is we basically just scale up the models that we have. And
they use me as like a test subject.
First we'll test it out on my dog, and then, you know, you'll be next. First person.
Heck yeah.
You'll be the Yuri Gagarin of
there we go.
Commercial. Well, I guess no. There's been people that have already done passenger drone flights, so you'll be just the first.
What's the farthest traveled in a? That's an interesting question. I wonder what that is. The farthest distance traveled.
Brian, pull that shit up.
You Google searched me. I forgot about that. I saw my
Longest
My stuff
passenger drone.
Travel. We're watching Google. Okay, list of manned passenger drones and drone taxis. Let's see. It wasn't long ago that this was stuff of dreams. Not anymore. Dude, that thing looks
Still
like
my dreams.
the Avengers.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. So it's not talking great aerial photos and gathering data. So I think this is just talking about drones, but they're not actually showing.
No, that just looks like a helicopter. No, never mind. No, it doesn't.
The EHang 184, that's so that one can do about 10 miles in a single flight.
Dang. What the?
Boeing. That one looks
That's not a drone.
Kitty Hawk.
That's Casey.
Is that?
Casey Neistat, yeah.
20-minute flight time, 10 large stands, Kitty Hawk. Volocopter.
That's some crazy stuff.
There's one new one that
Uber.
Japan just released as well, or that they're developing.
Uber Elevate.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with their technology. I saw them at
Uber.
presentation, and they're still focused on having a pilot. So you have to be like a licensed pilot, fly it. And I think that we're not really going to have adoption until the license is either as easy to get as a driver's license, or it's just like buying any other like device where you don't need a license to go buy a computer.
Yeah, true. You just kind of learn as you go.
Yeah.
In the air.
But the thing is, like, I don't think people should be flying these. I think they should be flying themselves.
Yeah. No, you're right. Some
well,
cool stuff.
Yeah, no definitive answer there, but I guess a record for us to set. But I guess the farthest that we did see is 10 miles. But if you think about 10 miles of aerial travel, I mean, you can get across a whole city.
That's a
10
large
miles,
distance. Yeah. As the bird flies, as they say.
All right.
It's crow.
Bird, crow. I mean, crow is a bird, so Austin wouldn't be wrong there. All right, Austin. What sort of content do you want to promote, or any of your work that you want to promote, or anything you want to tell people about?
I don't know. You know what the problem I've been having this podcast?
What's that?
I'm trying to think of I feel like we did such a good job the first time around that I'm like trying to think of what I said, and like in these moments you're talking or these quiet moments, I'm trying to think of like, man, what did I say the first time? It was so good. So.
Well, I was actually thinking about like going back through and listening to that podcast, but then I was like, I'll do the same thing. I'll just like, I'll just get caught up in my own head and like, oh yeah, I need to try to match it up to what we did for that first podcast, and you know what?
We did good.
Yeah, we'll just wing it again. That's what I do best.
I wing it very, very often. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you've got a business and you want to tell a really cool story, that's kind of where like I said before, my main focus is I want to help tell the story of your business through video. There are problems that a lot of industries have, all kinds of industries, that could be really easily solved through video, and it's just one of the greatest investments you can make. I mean, like we talked about before, video is like, especially we were talking specifically YouTube. So YouTube, if you've got 100 videos on there, it's like online real estate, because people are just going back and watching those, and you're just gaining more and more and more. So for video, for businesses, if you've got content, then people, like, here's an example. I shot an opening day of that winery. Mm-hmm. And the first day we posted it, it's like 1,000 views on theirs, a couple hundred views on mine, and then we both posted it to everything, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. Right. All combined over like 2 weeks, it's probably got like 10,000 views. Wow, because people just keep going back. That's not from the first time posting it. So to convince and to show business owners and brands and people that know, yeah, it costs a lot of money to get this done, but one, you're getting it done really professionally, even though a lot of people promote, just shoot it on your cell phone. There are perks to shooting with nice gear. As much as we say gear's not everything, there are perks. But knowing what you're doing and having that clear focus of story and purpose and brand and what you're doing with the video is important. So like I was saying with that winery, over time, it got more and more views. And there's been hundreds of people at this point to go because they were tagged in the video. Their best friend said, hey, let's go have wine here. Let's go hang out here this weekend. So those people saw the video and went because of it. So over time, someone 3 years from now could see that video just scrolling around and be like, oh, dang, that's cool, and go from something that the person hasn't even thought about the money they paid in 3 years.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you that. So you've talked a lot about, helping businesses tell their story. What's your interest in the storytelling? Do you have, ambitions to break into, the traditional entertainment industry, into,
yes,
long-form content, music videos?
See, I don't think I'll ever get into, movie making because I don't.
That's dying, but. Yeah.
That's dying. I think the whole system is just screwed up doing that anyway, but I've always loved movies. I love watching movies. I love going to the movie theater. My biggest thing is I love the reactions that it gets out of people. I love making something. It might sound weird and sadistic, but I love controlling the emotion. I can control the way I edit and shoot this, that someone's going to be really happy or emotional.
Right.
So a good example of that is honestly the way I proposed. So I met my wife almost 4 years ago now. And after we started dating.
At the old age of 16?
Oh, of a good old age of 16 or 17, whatever it was. Ages ago. No. But from the time we officially started dating, I had my camera all the time. I would record going to, the park or ice cream or hanging out, or we would Walmart making a toilet paper for it. Just
And that
everything.
was before I was dating her, just me in the
yeah,
distance.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. Just stalking in the distance with my camera. No, we were, like I said, officially dating. We were just taking videos of everything, Polaroid pictures. I've always been I love Polaroids and prints and stuff I love stuff records. Tangible stuff. I just like it. So anyway, the 3 years we were dating, I was just taking nonstop video. And I'm just kind of crazy. I love scavenger hunts. I love clues and riddles and puzzles and teasing people. And so I literally for 2 years planned the proposal. I gave her a necklace with numbers on it and said, keep this. And so for 2 years she wore a necklace with these certain numbers on it. And I just recorded everything. And I made it into a movie. I set the rest of the clues over the course of the year and a half. And then edited the movie, went to an actual movie theater, rented out the theater, hid all of our family and friends in the audience, and then said, hey, let's go see a movie, casual. She had no idea.
Wow.
And that day and a couple of weeks before, she was going and finding these new clues. And so by the time she got to the theater, she had no idea, but she knew everything she needed to know. So she gets to the theater, and we sit down, and we're watching the commercials, and I'm like, oh, I got to go get some candy. So I had already made friends. These people were awesome. I went up to the projector room. I changed into a tie and stuff.
That's awesome.
And ran back down with some flowers and just waited. And my trailer movie came on. And she was sitting there, and all of our family and friends were in the back, and she watched the entire thing over the past 2 years, the video I had made. And at the end, I had actually gone to the theater before and filmed me walking in. So basically, it would have timed up to where on the movie when I'm walking in, with the same clothes walk over.
Right.
And there was a note under the seat to turn around, blah, blah, blah. So
wow.
All to come back and say that I love movies, and I love not only movies, but what they freaking do to people. That's just so cool to me.
So
freaking cool.
Over the course of 2 years, you made a movie.
Yeah, it was a 15-minute.
With the ideal audience being.
One person.
One person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
So
That's how you know you love the craft.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
And love your significant other.
And, no, I'm just kidding. Of course.
Yeah.
But
she's
yeah,
all right.
She's all right.
It
I just
was
wanted to
really,
make a movie.
Yeah,
I've
it was
always
just an
wanted
excuse to make a movie.
It was only an excuse to get my own movie on a big screen. But no, I'm just kidding. I love you, Hannah. But anyway, that I feel like that shows people how much I just love the craft, just movies and video, and how that can have an impact on people is crazy. And in a smaller version of that,
have you ever posted that anywhere, or
No.
is that's way too personal? I take it, or
yeah, it's not even way too personal. It's just like, I think it's cool. It's just like an exclusive. If you were there, you got to see it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's for
Fair
her.
enough.
It's true. That was for her. I did post like a little edit of like, I had someone come and film me like proposing and everything. So I posted that, but I never posted the real thing.
Okay.
Um,
But that's a phenomenal story. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like that could be a great marketing piece right there.
dude, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I need no. But yeah, I love that so much. And if I can make someone cry with the video I make, that's goal. That
Yeah.
is my goal. My dad is a sucker for stuff like that. He will bawl his eyes out. So, and that's for everything. I made one for our 1-year anniversary. I made one, and I do similar stuff. So like, I had a projector at our friend's house, projected up on this big, just white screen thing. And I had a painting of us and our dog done.
Mm-hmm.
So the projector was on the thing. It just looked like white sheet. And at the end of it, I'm on the video like, come tear this open. So she walked up and tore it, and behind it was the painting I had done.
Wow.
So I did something like that for my parents' anniversary, my brother and sister-in-law's anniversary. So that goes back to saying that's where all the story comes from, like my drive for a purpose and story. And I feel like, why not bring that idea and like thought process to marketing and money and businesses, you know? So that's kind of my history of making movies
That's incredible.
in a long version.
That like just the obviously the level of care, beyond most people just creating content.
Yeah.
It is truly astounding. I mean,
Well, thank you.
It makes me look like not just a slouch when it comes to like the whole like, oh yeah, I'm gonna plan the whole thing out for this piece of content I'm producing.
Yeah.
But even just from the perspective of a family member and
What's funny is I heard the most that night is not really. I say this as a joke, but the number one thing I heard the most was from all the other married dudes. That's like, thanks for making me look bad, jerk.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to do, but just as a joke. But I feel like that's kind of what.
There's definitely that element to it.
I feel like that's what kind of sets me apart. Yeah, there are a lot of companies that just want like everyday content and just cycle it out, just get it out. And
you
that's
can help
good.
them with that too.
Yeah, that is good. That helps a lot. But I look for the people that.
BuzzFeed.
There you go. I look for the people that like feel how I feel about my business, or obviously I don't feel about how I feel about my family and wife as I do in my business. But similar mindset of I look for people that like have this close bond. Like they want someone to tell their story, like how it should be. And if you do that, then you're going to really appeal to the people that really believe in you, you know? Yeah. So that winery is a good example, honestly. I got really close to that guy. He's from similar background. He's a surfer. New Smyrna Beach is where I surf, all that stuff. So we connected on this bond.
New Smyrna Beach, like in Smyrna, Georgia? Or?
No. New Smyrna Beach is in Daytona. It's
Florida.
right by Daytona, Florida.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
East Coast, baby. But yeah, so I kind of take the same approach. It's like a lot of people are like, don't say to clients, oh, we'll be your friend. And I that's not really what I do either. I make it known that I'm personally interested in you, you know? Like I don't want to be the guy that just cycles stuff out. If you want something that you're going to talk to me for an hour and a half about what you did for this business, why it means so much to you, and most importantly, who you want to enjoy this. He had a specific kind of person in mind as to who he wanted this video to appeal to. Right. It was people like us, people that are like, roll their sleeves up. A winery, you think of like, pinkies out, Yeah. But no, I want very chill. I want people wearing sundresses, running around the vineyard, kids running around, families laughing, rednecks, hats, shorts. He wants that.
Right.
And so, although it's easy to say that, taking the time to understand why makes when I plan to do the video,
Right.
it gets exactly what he wants done, you know? So
Yeah.
I would say that that's easier with some clients than others.
it is. And
Because,
the
like,
clients,
some of them you can tell that there's like a passion behind it, and it's like, okay, I can replicate that. Whereas others, it's just like, I
want
just need
money.
marketing, and I just need to get more clientele and all
I
this
don't
other
really
stuff.
have any ideas.
and that
Yeah,
kinda-
and it just doesn't help you with developing
Exactly,
something to
Brian.
help them.
and that kind of goes back to that steak inside thing I mentioned. You know, like me, I want the people like how I just said. I want those
Right.
people. That's who
Yeah.
I'm going to go after. I'm going to go after their heartstrings and I'm going to go after those people that are invested in their own company and invested in the idea. And people that come along that, hey, I need a promotional video. Oh, okay. What's your store? They're like, I just have this company selling windows. Selling Windows cleaning service. I just need a video. Okay, cool. So this is our price. We'll be here I'll do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I will totally do that. And it will turn out really good, I think, and it does the job. But I kind of mesh it. I say, listen, I know you just need a marketing content, but a 10-minute call, I need to know what you want out of this.
Right.
Or else it's not going to turn out how you want.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the idea, figure it out, because it's going to figure out who you want seeing this video. Who you marketing towards.
I mean, just as important as showing up, doing the capture, and then, you know, the post-production, doing
Yeah.
the editing, is the pre-production.
Because they're not going to be
Yeah.
happy with it. I feel like they're not going to be as happy with it and you as they could be if you don't take that time.
Yeah.
And it could, like I said, it could be just like, I just need 10 minutes. Or just fill out this questionnaire real quick. It'll give me a good idea of I need to know. If you don't
Yeah.
want to tell me, then I don't work with you.
Right.
You need even a sentence, anything that's going to help me from just making a cool video to
This is the purpose.
brown
Yeah.
leather book binding video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like specific, why you? Why? If there's two book binding stores right next to each other, why you? Why?
Right.
I don't care about your company. I'm going to go to which I feel like going right today, you know?
Right.
They need to understand that there needs to be another reason besides price, honestly,
Yeah.
for some stores. If it's something like that, no one gives a crap about your bookbinding story. If you're $10 cheaper,
I mean, you know, I might not.
yeah, bookbinding is a side note. Bookbinding is a very passionate subject for Jacob. But no, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, it definitely goes to put in that pre-production effort. That way, your client understands what they're going to be getting ahead of time, and then you, as the producer, the content creator, know exactly what pieces need to be brought together for when it's time to roll the cameras.
Mhm.
You're not having to like, oh, it would have been cool if we could have done that, or hey, what do you think about appealing to this market? And having all that ahead of time will not
Yeah.
always.
it'll
but,
make
you
it
know,
easier
yeah,
for everybody.
Yeah.
99% of
Yeah.
the time.
Um,
And you'll be more happy with it.
but wrapping this up, anything else that you would like to promote or talk about, or?
I think I've done a lot of talking, honestly.
All right.
You go for it.
Well, again, I'm going to promote my studio here. This is the newest venture that I have co-founded with Brian, who's producing the show here, and a couple other co-founders. It's been the first You and Me podcast, well, the second take of the first podcast with my guest, Austin. Where can people find you?
So you can find me Stingray Aerials on anything. Facebook, TikTok, website, Instagram, all that good stuff. Stingray Aerials.
Google is your friend. People.
Google is my friend. Well, I'm trying to work on Google. Google's a monster, man.
Yeah,
Trying to
it
freaking
is.
get up there. But yeah, so if you're interested in anything, if I've touched you in a way over your ears,
Not in the no touch.
then hit me up. I'd love to hear about your brand and story and any of that good stuff. Also, I almost forgot last time too, but a large part of doing this kind of thing is the business side. Jacob is super extremely good at that, but no, I'm just kidding. But I'm not that. I'm okay at it because I can talk and sell and stuff. But like the marketing and the account work, like all the CRM stuff is hard, and I'm by myself pretty much. Hannah helps me with. My wife is an accountant actually, so she helps with that side of it.
That's crucial.
But very shortly, Marketing 360, like I said last time, that place is pretty awesome, but there's one guy there, David Gardner, who literally, dude, we talked for weeks, and he literally got me, I think it was like 20 sales in the first 2-3 months of working with this guy.
Marketing 360?
Yeah, David Garner. Remember that name. Marketing 360 is easy to David freaking Garner. Like I said, we went on this 6-month path. He's like, I love your brand. And this guy, honestly, it'll sound like he says this to everyone, but we're actually going to visit him. Like, this is how close we've gotten with this guy. And he cares so.
Garner?
Yeah, David Garner. And this guy cares. He really cares about your company.
Free plug, David. You're welcome.
Dude, you owe me for this.
David.
But yeah, he's a great dude. He really cares. He spends so much time with you, like doing the marketing and getting yourself out there, figuring out what you want to promote. Like a lot of what I've said, we talk about.
It sounds like his mantra is, if I can make you look good, it makes me look good.
No, seriously, I've written him like a recommendation thing. Every word of it was true. This guy, he's a genius at this stuff. So there you go, David. Shouting you out, buddy.
David, I'll be reaching out to you.
Jacob will reach out to you.
And then you won't be able to get rid of me.
True. True.
But again, my name is Jacob Andrews. My company is Drones Eye View. We do media, we do robotics, we do software. Go check out droneseyeview.com. You can be linked to each of our websites. And then we have My Studio here, our newest venture. Not yet linked on the Drones Eye View website, but you go to mystudio.space, mystudio.space. It's not .com. You can come here at my studio here in Sandy Springs or Atlanta, Georgia. We have all the space, equipment, and then even the producers you need to start creating your own content, build up your web presence, build up your social media presences, and welcome to the 21st century.
They've got it going on, guys.
Yep.
So thank you, Brian, for dealing with this mess.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem.
Fuck you, Brian. Take care,
Thanks, guys.
You too.
Have a good one. Yeehaw. That was pretty good, brother.